Cheers, everyone. Welcome to Owls TV Live at 5. We're here today to report to you anything to do with cannabis news. Let's get into it. So, if you haven't realized already, we're trying to create more structure in what we do and in the videos that we release. I don't have the exact pattern dialed in yet, but we're going to have some educational videos, some cannabis news videos, some reaction videos, and we'll also have a questions and answers video, and that should predominantly take up the 5 days of the week. Let's go, 5 days a week! Woo! So that's going to be the plan. So today is our first Cannabis News Today at Owls TV. So let's get into it. What do we want to talk about? So first thing that I was researching was spending patterns of males and females. And little did I know that men actually account for 66% of sales while women only account for 33%. I don't know why I thought it'd be a 50-50, but I didn't even think it would be like it's pretty male dominated, although the female sector is growing. Some of the things to note when it comes to the buying patterns. First of all, we've got a lot of different sections, right? So I'll just read them off to you quickly. We've got beverages, capsules, concentrates, edibles, flour, pre-rolls, tinctures, sublinguals, topicals, and vape pens. So when we look at these industries, and predominantly we're looking here between California, Colorado, Nevada, and Washington. They are currently the most developed marijuana industries right now. And what you'll find is that, what do you know, the bulk of sales is typically flour, followed by vape pens, followed by concentrates, followed by edibles. Now, interestingly, you'll find that on the edible side, females like to pick up their edibles less than men. Men are more dominated when it comes to flour, concentrates, and sort of neck and neck with vape pens. But in the categories which women are purchasing more than men, we have pre-rolls and vape carts in some states and edibles. And one thing I noticed even for our business when I looked at that is like, well, damn, we don't have a lot of these SKUs. We need to do some drinks. We have, if we were to read through these again, we need to do some drinks. We have capsules, we have concentrates coming, edibles, flour. I know we need to do the flour. The flour is the big one. We really need to do the flour. We're working on the flour. Pre-rolls, check. Tinctures and sublinguals, check. Topicals on the way, and vape pens. So we nearly have all the markets apart from beverages and also flour. And flour takes up, in every industry, flour accounts for 50% of sales, basically, give or take. Predominantly 50, maybe 45. So that's a huge sector that we are currently missing on. In other news, we also found out that the cannabis industry as a whole is looking at reaching, what do you think it's going to reach this year in the United States sales? I'll give you 5 seconds. And if you guessed $28 billion, you got it right. Congratulations. So it's looking like $28 billion is what the cannabis industry will be hitting in 2022. And I mean, we haven't even scratched the surface yet. I mean, we've gotten, obviously California's online, but the main reasons for this, they are expected, the US cannabis market is expected to grow 24%. And that is primarily due to the fact that Arizona, New Jersey, and New York all just recently legalized and have opened their dispensaries. So that is going to add a big boost. I mean, New York and New Jersey is just a huge market in general. And yeah, as a whole, what do you know, the cannabis industry is completely exploding. Surprise, surprise. And in the other thing I'll note is in Canada, the sales are actually for the whole entire country are looking at, let's see, where is it here? $4 billion total. And it's looking like it might reach up to like 5.3 in 2022. But again, when you compare the United States market compared to Canada, I mean, I feel like Canada has a lot of empty space, whereas we've got like New York and California and Los Angeles, and we are basically outpacing them at like a 5-1. So that is just a little insight for you. We are going to be bulking this up as we continue to add this to the list. If you could leave some comments below about certain things that you're interested in, it could be like, oh, I heard Medman is going to be doing some sales. We could even do some stocks if people are interested in that. Just let us know what you think, what other areas you would like us to focus on. Would you like to have like, you know, states by states, who's spending more? Like, is it the breakdown of, you know, sort of what we just did there, what's selling where, what are the top brands? Let us know in the comments what you'd like, and we'll try to make sure that we can actually give you what you want. So in this most recent article that I was reading, the main thing that really stood out to me is the importance of branding. And just let me get my smoothie in there. The importance of branding in all of these markets. When we looked at California, Colorado, and Washington, if you've got a brand and it's got brand loyalty to it, it dominates in the industry. So if you look at this, right, let's take for a look at California. In the edibles category, the top 2 brands accounted for 49.2% of all sales. That's incredible. When you look at Colorado, the top 3 brands dominated 49.7% of market share. And in Washington State, the top 6 brands dominated 52.6%. So if you've got a good brand out there and you've got consumer loyalty, it is showing that it really does pay off. When we look at edibles, the top edibles brand in California is Kiva currently. When we drop down to vape pens is a little bit tougher, but Stizzy is the number 1 brand right now in terms of market share in California with 20.2%. And the top 5 brands accounted for 50% of the whole market. When we look at Colorado, it's a little bit more broken down. Craft 710 looks after 8.7% of the total market share, not that much. And the top 8 brands accounted for 50% of the market. So again, what we're seeing here, the top brands are accounting for majority of the market. And we look over to Washington State, we've got Northwest Cannabis Solutions. They had 10% of the total vape market, and the top 8 brands account for 51.5% total. If we look over to the beverages, top 3 brands in California accounted for 49.2% of sales. In Colorado, the top 2 brands dominate with 66% of total sales. And in California, the top 2 brands account for Washington State, 77.2% of total sales. When we come down to flower is probably one of the most competitive. In California, the top 28 brands account for 50.7% of the market, with the number 1 brand being Pacific Stone. And in Colorado, the house or store brands account for 63%. That's interesting. The top 2 brands account for 67% total. And in Washington, the top brand is Fat Panda, and the top 30 brands account for 45.9% total. So what we're seeing here, and we've got to have the concentrates quickly. Raw Garden is number 1 in California with 15.9% total market share. The top 13 brands accounted for 51.2%. And then for Colorado, it's the house or the store brand. So it seems in Colorado, they really like the house or store brands. The house or store brand accounted for 16.7%. And the top 10 brands accounted for 51%. And then in Washington, we have Smoky Point Productions at 7.8% of the total industry, with the top 19 brands accounting for 50%. So what we see there is that the importance of your brand loyalty. and being pretty clear on what it is that you offer. I didn't go too much in depth to it, but there was actually a couple of drinks companies that went from 0 market share to 20% market share over like a year period. And so again, if you can hone in on what it is that you offer, and I'm sure you all have your brands. I mean, you probably don't even, a lot of you are probably not even in like any of these states. And so you don't even know yet what your brand is, but you know what you do know? You know what the top Delta 8 brands are, right? Yeah. And hopefully Al's will be in there, right? Hopefully Al's will be in there. And that's really what we're trying to do here, is to create a space for us in the market that is for premium brands. And that's what we're trying to do. And this really reinforces that. So give us feedback. This is our first time really doing this cannabis news. Let us know, did we leave some stuff out? Is there like this glaring, like, you need to talk about legalization in other like states, and how did you leave out, you know, New Jersey or something like that? Let us know in the comments. And if you feel like it, subscribe. And if you don't, I hope you watch another video. Thank you. You have to watch the videos till the end. On Friday, when we drop our Friday video, that is when you get to see if you won at the end. So make sure to watch Friday's videos always to make sure that you weren't the person that got the prize and didn't pick it up. Over and out.